Bitcoin. It's been a huge talking point in financial media following a crazy week of wild events that caused prices to plummet over 50%, then slightly recovered to just over $37,000 a coin. All of this started when Elon Musk tweeted out that Tesla would no longer accept Bitcoin as payment for its vehicles. Quite a shocking comment from a man who has embraced cryptocurrencies, arguably becoming Bitcoin's largest influencer. Whether by coincidence or not, Bitcoin's price following this tweet began to plummet, hitting a low of $31,000, nearly half of what it was in mid-April. This wild volatility ride also caused a huge surge in commentary from prominent investors. One of those, Ray Dalio, had some shocking comments in his interview with CoinDesk. In this video, I'm going to focus my attention around a 1-minute clip where Dalio reveals shocking opinions on the cryptocurrency that should be taken very seriously by anybody who's skeptical about Bitcoin. The interview begins with this.
I think Bitcoin's greatest risk is its success. Because as it becomes more, right now, it's not such a big deal. And, fighting it is more of a big deal. And that's it, because it's not that big a deal. As it becomes a bigger deal and more of a threat, let's say people want to sell their bonds and they want to buy Bitcoin. And they want to do that in a bigger way, like buying gold or something in a bigger way. And then there's more transaction. They lose control over that. And that's an existential risk. So yes, that's connected. The more we create savings in it.
So as you just heard, Dalio thinks that Bitcoin's biggest risk isn't a 51% attack, the reveal of Satoshi, or its electrical usage, but rather its success. I know what you're thinking. What does he really mean by that? Well, judging based on his prior comments, Dalio thinks that Bitcoin's mass adoption will cause serious issues with those in power at the Federal Reserve, especially if citizens begin looking at BTC as a way to get away from the failing US dollar. You may argue that this is already happening, but in Dalio's opinion, we're still in the infancy stages. He thinks BTC is relatively small when looking at the grand picture, and governments still have some breathing room before they hit that panic button. We have two sides to this common argument, that the government will interfere and stop Bitcoin from prospering. On one side, you have people that like to reference Executive Order 6102, signed April 5, 1933 by then-President Franklin D. Roosevelt. This act literally made it illegal overnight to hoard gold coins, bullion, and gold certificates, making private gold ownership illegal. Everyone in the United States at the time was required to deliver all private gold to the Federal Reserve, paid at a set exchange rate of $20 per ounce. Immediately following its passage, Roosevelt changed the statutory price of gold from $20 an ounce to $35 an ounce, thereby devaluing the US dollar, which was based on gold. That price remained in effect until August 15, 1971, when President Richard Nixon announced that the US would no longer convert dollars to gold at a fixed value, thus abandoning the gold standard for foreign exchange. This event is used as proof of what the government is capable of doing when it's in their interest to prevent an asset from competing with the great and powerful United States dollar. On the other side of that argument, you have many people who claim that Bitcoin is far better and more technologically advanced than gold, which is true, of course. Governments banning it would be nearly impossible, as its features inherently make that incredibly difficult. Many Bitcoin bulls like to compare it to a different technology that opened the world up to serious advancement. The internet. You can try to ban it, but anyone and everyone is free to publish their page, their app, or their service to the world. But as we know with the internet, it's not as free as you think. Large corporations control nearly all internet traffic, and utility companies control the infrastructure. And don't get me started on who overrules the entire thing. If the government came out and banned Bitcoin, you can bet that it would enter a phase close to extinction. There's a reason why Coinbase, Cash App, PayPal, and every other major Bitcoin marketplace asks you a long series of personal questions to verify your identity. You can bet that the IRS or some government organization out there knows exactly how much you have and where you've sent it. But where am I going with this? Well, according to many experts, Bitcoin's popularity is growing largely due to inflation. Citizens are slowly losing faith in the US dollar and beginning to realize that inflation figures are likely not accurate. compared to their rising cost of living everywhere. Saving accounts are being eaten up, and major companies are starting to put Bitcoin on their balance sheets. Even US bonds are facing pressure and competition from the crypto world. Take a listen to Dalio's shocking statement about exactly this.
And that's an existential risk. So, yes, that's connected. The more we create savings in it, the more you might say, I'd rather have Bitcoin than the bond. Personally, I'd rather have Bitcoin than a bond. And then the more that happens, then it goes into Bitcoin and it doesn't go into credit, and then they lose control of it. So yeah, that's a risk.
So there you have it. Dalio has officially taken a position in Bitcoin and even went as far as saying that he would rather own Bitcoin than bonds. This is coming from a guy who was pretty bearish on crypto as early as last November, saying, quote, "I don't think digital currencies will succeed in the way people hope they would," end quote. By late January, though, he was a little bit more optimistic about digital currencies, saying, "I greatly admire how Bitcoin has stood the test of 10 years of time, not only in this regard, but also in how its technology has been working so well and has not been hacked. Bitcoin looks like a long duration option on a highly unknown future that I could put money in that I wouldn't mind losing about 80% of." And I feel exactly the same way. If Dalio, one of the most respected investors, is saying this, you can bet that even the biggest Bitcoin bears are going to make a turn and begin to buy. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, please hit that subscribe button if you're interested in watching more content like this, and consider signing up for BlockFi using my affiliate link down below. Sign up with BlockFi, and for a limited time, you can earn a crypto bonus of up to $250 when you open a new account.